So here's the deal. Corporate life, when you boil it all down, is actually pretty simple. You've got the king, right? Commanding from on high. Then you've got the peasants, patrolling the cubicle farms. And then there's you. You're on post, guarding the castle walls.
Okay, so the very first thing any new squire needs, it's a map of the realm. And you've got to memorize this thing, seriously. But not for, fire drills or anything like that. No. This is so you know exactly who, at any given moment, has the power to write you up. So let's start the tour, shall we?
All right, we're starting at the very top, the throne room. This is where the C-suite dragons live. Now listen, the rules of engagement here are absolutely critical. Rule number 1, don't make eye contact. Your job is to announce their arrival. Sire, your carriage awaits, and then, just like that, you become part of the wallpaper. Invisibility is your best armor in this room.
Next up, we're heading to the tower. This is middle management's domain. And, this place is a little tricky. The power they think they have, it's mostly imaginary. It's just a reflection of the dragons up in the throne room. But, and this is a big but, the consequences of their decisions, they are very, very real for you. So, what's your go-to survival phrase? It's this. Copy, I'll escalate that to the chain. Burn that into your brain. You're gonna use it a lot.
Okay, out into the courtyard we go. This is where you'll find the supervisors, or as they're known, the clipboard squad. They're pretty easy to spot, actually. For one, they always travel in packs. They've always got a perfectly charged radio, and they have this whole library of medieval excuses for when things go wrong. My favorite has got to be, the Charger Goblins must have struck again. Classic.
And now, we head down into the dungeon. This is where you'll find your people, the other contract guards. It's kind of the place where hope goes to die the second you clock in. The real key to survival down here, it's all about community. You share your snacks, you share intel about what the nobles are up to, but you never share your last phone charger. That thing is sacred, non-negotiable.
Let's talk about the outer wall. That's the front desk. Now this might not seem like much, but it's a position of really subtle but immense power. Think about it. You control the drawbridge. So when some fancy, important-looking person shows up claiming they know the king, what's your move? Simple, calm, firm. You just ask, do you have an appointment scroll?
Ooh, and now we approach the keep, the domain of the IT wizards. You do not, I repeat, do not approach them lightly. You come to the humming server stones bearing gifts, bearing offerings. And what kind of offerings, you ask? Well, the sacred texts, serial numbers, ticket IDs, and just a ton of patience. Trust me, they are powerful sorcerers. You don't want to get on their bad side.
And at last we arrive at the treasury. This is where they keep your hard-earned gold. But listen, the math in here, it's like it's enchanted. It's guarded by 3 really fearsome dragons named Taxes, Daily Pay, and Lunch Unpaid. So if you ever find your coin purse feels a little lighter than it should, you can't just fight these dragons. Nope, you have to seek an audience with the Scribe of Deductions.
Okay, so you've got the map. You know who the key players are. But just navigating the geography of the castle, that's only half the battle. To really make it through your shift, you have to understand the culture. You need the secret knowledge, right? The unwritten rules. So let's crack open the Royal Guardsman's Manual.
So the core philosophy of this manual is actually pretty simple. In the presence of confusion, bow deeper. And I love that the source says this is probably HR. I mean, that just feels right, doesn't it? Basically, when you have absolutely no idea what to do, just do nothing. But make sure you do it with a whole lot of deference. So how does this whole thing actually work in practice? Well, it's kind of like a chain reaction. The king executive just issues these sudden decrees out of nowhere. Then the middle lords immediately deflect. Their default is, that's above my pay grade, which means the supervisors are the ones who have to deliver the news, always starting with a nervous, so apparently. And where are you in all this? Oh, you're caught right in the middle, with the impossible job of being visible enough to stop trouble, but invisible enough to avoid trouble. Now you might be wondering about the official rules, right? The standard operating procedures. Well, new SOPs only seem to materialize out of thin air when there's a risk of a lawsuit, or there's an audit coming up, or, and you're not going to believe this, when a guard gets too good at their job. That's right, get really good at what you do, and they might just invent a new rule to make it harder. Your reward for being efficient is more bureaucracy. Go figure. So what happens when you have a totally legitimate question?
Well, that question begins its long, sad journey up something called the ladder of delay. First, it gets delayed. Then, it gets reinterpreted into something that barely resembles your original question. After that, it's usually just forgotten. And if, by some absolute miracle, it ever makes its way back to you, it comes with the most dangerous 5 words in the corporate language: use your judgment. And we all know that's just code for, good luck, you're on your own.
And this all brings us to the very fine art of visibility. It's a total tightrope walk. See, if you're too visible, all the regular folks start to panic. They think something must be wrong. But if you're too invisible, the nobles start to panic, thinking the castle is completely undefended. So your goal is something called the divine glimpse. You want to be a fleeting presence that's just reassuring enough and totally forgettable.
All right, we've covered the map of the castle. We've gone over the whole political landscape. Now it's time for the really important part. This is the practical, tactical advice you need to actually survive your shift on the front line. So pay close attention, because this is where all that theory turns into actual survival. Okay, first things first, introductions. First impressions are everything, and you really do set the entire tone in the first 10 seconds. Just look at the difference here. Telling someone to calm down, that's an order, and it only makes things worse. I mean, think about it. Has anyone in the entire history of the world ever calmed down because someone told them to? No. But I'm with building security, how can I help? That's an offer. It de-escalates. You're there to help, not to command.
Next up, we have the 3 distances. This is a core survival tactic, so remember this. Number 1, maintain a respectful amount of space. You don't want to seem aggressive, you want to show you're in control. Number 2, keep your hands visible. It's a universal I mean no harm signal. And number 3, always know where your exit is. Your main goal here is to slow things down, not to charge into a fight you can't easily get out of.
Okay, what if a situation starts to get worse? You use the escalation ladder. And the rule here is so simple. You climb the ladder, you don't catapult yourself to the top. You move up 1 rung at a time. Skipping from, say, a verbal warning straight to calling for backup, that's a great way for a squire to lose their post, or worse. Every single step is like a filter, designed to solve the problem with the least amount of force necessary. You have to respect the process.
And make sure you check the decree board every single day. Seriously, because the rules, the edicts, they shift like the wind. One day your uniform has to be a blacker black. The next day your scheduled breaks are now considered aspirational. The most important thing to remember is that every policy can change without any notice. Your best bet? Just nod, pretend to be surprised, and adapt on the fly.
And that's it. You did it. You've now been given all the secret knowledge, all the tactical skills you're going to need to survive out there. So, Squire of Safety, your orientation is officially complete.
Look, security in this corporate castle isn't some kind of magic. It's definitely not about heroic deeds. It really just comes down to 3 things: presence, paperwork, and patience. So go on, get out there, and mind the dragons.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought for you to take with you to your post. When you look at your own corporate castle, you know, the C-suite, the middle managers, all those daily rule changes, just ask yourself this: which dragon are you going to face first?